So I am currently away at the minute on holiday. I won't be able to get any videos up, but I did make a lot of videos similar to the types of videos I make in this channel on my main channel, my basketball channel, about a year ago. I still think they're decent enough, so I'm going to upload a few of them. They've been all private on the main channel. I'm going to upload a few of them onto this channel this week. So anyway, enjoy the video. This is 10 weird facts about some of your favorite NBA players. First is that LeBron James is actually left-handed. He writes with his left hand, he shoots with his right, he plays with his right. Imagine if he actually shot with his dominant hand. Whether obviously he'd been trying to shoot with his right and he improved, but imagine if he'd been shooting with his dominant hand his entire life. Maybe that's why his shot just looks so messed up. Maybe that's why he's been struggling with shooting. Probably not, but who knows. Number 2. Kobe Bryant's parents co-signed his first NBA contract. Kobe was not 18 by the time he signed his first contract when he was drafted. He only turned 18 later that year. So for that reason, his parents actually had to sign his contract. He wasn't a legal adult, so he didn't have capacity to contract. But in the end, he actually had to get his parents to sign it for him. Now obviously this won't be much of a problem now, because you have to be at least a year out of high school to be eligible for the draft, but who knows, a 17-year-old international player could find his way to the NBA soon, and this might be a problem for them. Number 3. In 2012, on the last game of the 2011-2012 season, the Warriors started 5 rookies in a game. Most teams don't have 5 rookies, and under Mark Jackson, the Golden State Warriors started Klay Thompson, Charles Jennings, Chris Wright, Jeremy Tyler and Mikal Gladness. While at the time doing things like that probably seemed nuts, the fact that obviously giving this much trust in his young players helped Mark Jackson build the Golden State Warriors that we know today. Number 4. 60% of NBA players are broke 5 years after retirement. And I know it seems a bit weird that millionaires can be broke so easily, but to be honest, I can see easily how it happens. A lot of NBA players are close enough to the minimum, or even if they're not, spend way too much. They spend like they're going to have 10 million a year for the rest of their life, and as soon as the income stops coming in, whether they don't get a big contract or whether they just get cut from the league entirely, they still spend like that. They're used to living in luxury. Looking at that, you can see why players go broke. Allen Iverson had an entourage of nearly 40 people, and even though for about 10 years he was one of the most paid players in the NBA, still went broke. Antoine Walker earned over 100 million in contract and still went broke, so you can see easily how it happens to players that are on much lesser salaries. Number 5. 7 foot tall Americans have a 17% chance to make the NBA. While someone between the height of 6'6" and 6'8" has less than a 1% chance, if you're 7 foot and above an American, you have a 17% chance. Obviously a lot of 7 footers do end up struggling in the NBA, they can't keep up with the pace of it, but the saying is true, you can't teach height, and a lot of NBA teams will take a risk on a big guy just because they're big. So if you're watching this and you're 7 foot tall and American, there is a nearly 20% chance that you will make the NBA. Number 6. Former NBA player QYNTEL Woods used his basketball card as ID. He was pulled over by the police in March 2003 for speeding and for possession of marijuana, and he had no ID on him. So he offered his basketball card and 2 credit cards as supplement. Obviously he didn't get away with it, and he was fined over $1,000 for driving without a license as speeding. Number 7. Olympian Carl Lewis was drafted by the Chicago Bulls. Back in 1984 there wasn't only 2 rounds in the NBA draft, there was 10. Carl Lewis was selected with a 208 pick in the 10th round of the 1984 draft, but back then it looked like people were just drafting random players in those low rounds who people never thought were going to make the league. Just like Oscar Schmidt from Brazil, one of, in my possibly the best 20 players of all time, had no intention of going to the NBA and was still drafted in the 4th round. Number 8. Only 2 original NBA teams have never changed cities. The Knicks and the Celtics. They're the only teams other than expansion teams that haven't been relocated. While it's not surprising that these 2 teams haven't moved cities, it's just kind of surprising that there was a while there was no team in LA. Obviously a lot of other big cities never had teams, no teams in Miami, no teams in Orlando till the expansions. So anyway, and while most people know that the Celtics and the Knicks have never changed cities, a lot of people wouldn't think that they're the only 2 teams to never change cities. Number 9, possibly the second most badass thing I've ever heard of an NBA player. Paul Pierce was stabbed 11 times on the 25th of September 2000 at Buzz nightclub. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, tried to stop a fight and was stabbed 11 times. Luckily for him, his former teammate was there to get him to the nearest hospital, and Paul Pierce actually played every game that season. He was stabbed 11 times and still played every game that season. Obviously he's remembered for a little bit of flopping and the obvious wheelchair incident, but to be honest, Paul Pierce is one hard motherfucker. The reason that I say he's the second most badass thing is the most badass thing I've ever heard is from the most badass NBA player in history. No, not Meta World Peace or Ron Artest or Panda's friend, whatever his name is now. It is MANUTE BALL. MANUTE BALL once killed a lion with a spear. Killed a lion while it was asleep. He threw a spear at the lion for killing one of his cows. While it doesn't seem like that big a deal, MANUTE BALL, obviously one of his cows dying to a lion, he did pay 80 cows for his wife. Yep, he paid 80 cows for his wife. Obviously, he was from Sudan and things are a lot different than they are in America and Europe. And it's probably different than that now, but it's just one of those crazy stories that you just look at it and think, man, this is just an absolute weird fact, and that MANUTE BALL is one badass motherfucker. While this isn't an NBA fact, I think I just need to put it in here. The max salary in the WNBA is 101,000, and the NBA is over 20 million. And Diana Taurasi is the most paid player in the NBA in the WNBA with that salary, and this kind of just shows how low the salary is. Her team in Russia, who she used to play with for the Russian season, and then she'd play in the summer in the WNBA, were paying her $1.5 million a year, over 15 times that, and also were paying her more than the max WNBA contract bonus to sit out the WNBA season. They were paying her more to rest than any WNBA team were allowed to pay, which I think is just nuts, because I assume the WNBA is the most watched women's league in the world, but it just kind of a little bit kind of shows how they're fairly screwed over. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's the video. These are just 10 plus 1 facts that a lot of people didn't know about some of their favourite NBA players. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.